Welcome. Welcome to stream. Oh, camera privilege is revoked. Hold. Why? Hey, oh, maybe. There we go. Hello. Welcome. Let's start by saying hello to people, probably. Raven, tada, hello. Mao, hello, welcome. And Tristan, hello, welcome. Nightwolf, today's a great day. Today is a wonderful day. Where is Pet? Hold on. Okay. I had to. Last stream was Voop chat, and so I had to kind of take some of them off because there's no gun cam for Voop chat. So hold on. We gotta bring back the things. All right, there we go. Voob chat, yeah, we did a Voob chat. Pet VHS. Okay, we can do that. All right, chat. For those who don't know, we've got some stuff to talk about today, and I also have something new to show you. So I don't know what order do we do everything in. I've got so much to talk about today, which is weird. Usually I'm sitting here and I have no idea what to talk about, and so it's just like sitting here not knowing what to do. But today's the opposite. Today there's so much to talk about, I don't know what to start with. All right, chat. Let's start with suppressors. We're going to start with suppressors. We'll get into a new thing in just a second. So suppressors, right? Everyone here probably knows what suppressors are. At least vaguely knows the process to get a suppressor. But we're still going to go over it real quick. We're going to give the SparkNote summary. Do people still use SparkNotes? I don't know. People probably just ask AI now. But chat, there has been a absolutely just massive win for suppressors in the House of Representatives. So suppressors, attachment you put on the end of your gun, it makes your gun a little quieter. And it is, I don't know, it's a hearing safety device. Very cool. Big fan of them. To get a suppressor, currently, you have to submit paperwork to the ATF. You have to submit photos, fingerprints, and paperwork to the ATF. You have to notify your law enforcement officer, chief law enforcement officer. It's a huge pain. And once you have your suppressor, You have to keep the approval paperwork with it all the time. And it's all very unreasonable for literally an attachment. In the House, though, tacked onto this giant omnibus bill, which I'm gonna be honest, generally not a huge fan of big omnibus bills. I think they're stupid. However, this time, there's something good slapped on the end of it. There's something good slapped on it. There is added to this thing the complete removal of suppressors from the NFA, which is huge, massive. I'm gonna be honest, if you had asked me even like 3 months ago, 2 months ago, if this was possible, like any time in the near future, I would have said no. I would have said it's not possible. But here we are. Suppressors being deregulated effectively? Yes. So they amended this section into this giant bill. So we're going to read it. We're going to read it. So section 5845A is amended by striking any silencer, by striking 7, any silencer, and all that follows through, and 8, and inserting and 7. So basically, they're just removing anything about silencers and suppressors from the NFA. And then they are going to amend the tax section, because the bill that this is being slapped onto is a tax bill. So they do have to actually relate it to taxes. So this section A here, this 3 small lines right here is what is removing silencers from the NFA. And the rest of this is all justifying it as a tax change, because the NFA is a tax scheme. And so they remove suppressors, silencers from the NFA up here. And then they change the tax stuff so that there's no taxes for making or transferring suppressors. Will this force ban states like California to allow suppressors? This directly will not, unfortunately. Unfortunately for California, this will not directly force ban states to allow suppressors. It will, however, give some fire to lawsuits and lawmakers trying to make them legal. It'll allow challenges, yes. So first of all, let's keep in mind, this is, so far, huge suppressor victory. Huge victory. We're not done yet. This is just the House of Representatives so far. And it was just added. It still has to be voted on tomorrow, I think. And then it has to get through the Senate. This also has to get through the Senate, keep in mind. Keep in mind, this is a victory. This is a battle win, not a war win. Won the battle here, not won the war. So celebrate, yes. But know that we got to head to the next battle. This first battle, though, decisive victory. Decisive victory. And so whenever this gets to the Senate, whenever this bill goes to the Senate, there will be two things. There'll be two things to do. The first is to keep this in. This has already been added. The first battle, once this gets into the Senate, is to call your state representatives. There's just two of them for every state, and get them on board for this thing. The second thing is that even though suppressors getting removed from the NFA is massive, with how much support and how much, honestly, with how much unification is in the firearms community right now, which I have never seen in my life. I have never seen the firearms community as unified and moving as I see right now, which is beautiful. Like, it is, I cannot understate how wonderful it is to finally see the firearms community not bickering about a bunch of stupid stuff and actually working towards something. And it's led to this thing that I didn't even think was possible. So, that momentum, we can't let it die with just suppressors. Because there's also a short-barreled firearms that has quite a bit of momentum behind it as well. And if this can stay in the bill as eliminating suppressors from the NFA, as eliminating attacks, then we should be able to also remove short-barreled rifles, shotguns, and AOWs from the NFA, because they shouldn't be there in the first place. So yes, revel in the victory. Revel in this victory. But know that it's not over yet. Drink and be merry. It's not over yet. And we've got some videos and stuff. We've got some videos and stuff to watch about this. Because of course, I'm a streamer. Got to make slop content. And we'll watch those here in a little bit. I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped. I'm so excited. Pet gun. Pet Martin. Some people name their guns. This one already has a name. Martin. Martin can't have a suppressor. I don't even know if they make a threaded barrel for the Rost Martin. swap barrel with aftermarket. Ross Martin is such a new brand. I don't know if they have an aftermarket yet. All right, we have some other things to talk about. It's a Glock clone. Not quite. It is not quite a Glock clone. It is similar to a Glock, but it is not a Glock clone. This does not have interchangeability with Glocks, except maybe holsters. I've been told that some Glock 19 holsters will work with it, but that's about it. It might also take Glock sights. No, it does not. At least not front sight. It takes dovetail sights. Chat. There's so much to talk about today. We've briefly touched on suppressors being removed from the NFA, which, by the way, is amazing. The next thing, though, chat. Think of all the new development that will happen now. If suppressors make it through, and honestly, now that it's added to the bill, it's very likely. Suppressors removed from the NFA we would see so much development in suppressor technology. And after a little bit of time, because at first, everywhere will be sold out completely all the time. But after a while, after the market calms itself a little bit, prices will go down. Availability will go up. More companies will make suppressors because you don't have to deal with all the horrible NFA restrictions for businesses. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for suppressors. I need them. I need them now. All right. However, we're going to move from a serious topic, although it's serious, positive connotation serious, to, chat, have you heard? Did you hear about Chris? Chris, like, that makes the Vector. Because, oh my goodness. Oh my, Chris. Yes, Chris. Chris got their account suspended temporarily because they were trying to silence Girls Frontline posters in their replies. So they got their account temporarily suspended. Oh, we got ads. We're gonna wait till after ads. Gotta wait till after ads. Virgin Chris versus Chad Robinson arms. It's true. Robinson absolutely embraced the Girls Frontline fans. Mm, that might be a little strong. Robinson at least acknowledged the girls' frontline fans. Chris did not. Chris did not do well with this. Motorcycle, yeah, this is some ricer. You hear a lot of those here, unfortunately. They're racing on the street. Bunch of idiots. All right. Chris. Never go to war with weebs, it's true. They got their account suspended because they were hiding too many replies. Which is hilarious, first of all. Like, Chris had to release a statement. Chris released a statement about about girls frontline because they got their account suspended. So we're gonna read it. We're gonna read their statement. I've not completely read this statement. I saw that it was there. I've not read it yet. So from Chris USA. We have heard your concerns about hidden replies on recent Girls Frontline 2 content and want to be transparent about what's happening. Some replies were removed and reported due to violations of our content guidelines, specifically NSFW or sexually explicit material, which isn't allowed on our page. A small number of individuals crossed the line, and we took action to maintain a respectful space for everyone. To help ensure the page stays welcoming, we've temporarily hidden related replies while our team reviews them. Once complete, appropriate posts will be restored. We got some corporate nonsense. We got some corporate apology. It's like, oh no, it was just temporary. We weren't gonna leave them hidden forever. Okay. We're also aware of some attempts to organize mass replies. Organize mass replies. They know that this isn't organized, right? They know that this is literally like this is a fan base that is absolutely insane, first of all. As a Girls Frontline fan, Girls Frontline fans are literally insane. This isn't organized. While we absolutely encourage community engagement, coordinated spam can disrupt conversations and detract from the experience. As a page focused on firearms content, we're subject to tighter scrutiny on many platforms. Inappropriate replies make it easier for others to flag or suppress our content, and that affects the entire community. We appreciate your passion and support. Let's continue working together to keep this space positive, respectful, and fun for all. Thanks for being a valued part of the Chris community. Too lewd for Maine. Keep in mind, hold on, let me pull it up now. Robinson. Where's their Mother's Day post? Keep in mind, Robinson is allowing posts like a time to make my wife a mother with Anime Girl. Time to make that gun a mother. I don't want to scroll too far because I might get a little sus. And Chris is over here not allowing that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Literally Virgin Chris versus Chad Robinson. View hidden replies. Really? Really? That's hidden reply? Hidden replies. I'm pretty sure every gun manufacturer has had this this exact picture. Yeah. I don't know. Chris Chris has to evolve. Chris has to evolve fast because there's nothing that gets people to do what you don't want them to more than telling them they're not allowed to do something. Especially when a more popular and much more influential streamer catches word of your nonsense. Kirsha posted about this because Kirsha has the Kirsha vector. So from Kirsha, somehow Chris got their account restricted after hiding a ton of girls' frontline posts that shouldn't have even been hidden. As a person of anime who loves the vector, I have to wonder what the social media manager is thinking here. Pics of my 45 my community sent me for my birthday last year. And so Chris here has a tactical opportunity to have an absolutely just massive increase to their customer base, and they're trying to silence people. I haven't bought a Vector yet, but you know what would make me buy a Vector? If they released a girls frontline partner Vector. I'd buy that so fast. You have no idea. So Chris, if you scroll through Chris replies, they're getting the Robinson treatment. 7 hours, 41,000 views. $41,000. 2 days ago, 84,000. Like if we scroll back a while, let's scroll back to before Girls Frontline. Almost 2,000, 1.3 thousand, 1.5 thousand, 3,000. Ooh, that one was pretty good. 3.4. Ooh. 1.3, 2, 1.8, 3.5. They should be happy they're getting the attention. And they are literally like getting more than 10 times the views on their post. And they're trying to silence the people who are doing this fantastic advertisement for them. Like, Chris, what are you doing? Do you see this opportunity in front of you? I can't. Oh my S. They're fumbling. They're fumbling so hard. Do you know how many posts I've seen? Replies to Robinson that they're like, I didn't even know about this company before I met this cute waifu in the game, and then I bought one of these $2,500 guns because of cute anime girl. Like, that's crazy. People are literally buying $2,500 Robinson rifles because of cute anime girl. And Chris is here trying to silence those people. Like, what are you doing, Chris? What are you doing? Oh, the fumbling. Would be legit if Chris made a one-off. It would. It would be so cool. Or a limited run. It would be so cool. I mean, obviously, if you're going to do that, you do have to work with actual like Girls Frontline. Because, well, the Girls Frontline Vector isn't even called Vector. Well, they don't use the Vector. I don't remember what they use a legally distinct Vector. But a partnership between the two? Do they realize how many that would sell? Do they realize how many vectors that would sell? All of them. All of them would sell all of them. That was, I had to go over that because that's too good. That was too good. Couldn't not. Chris is too busy not being based. They sure jumped the gun, so to say. Oh yes, they did. Chris fumbled that one hard. Like, oh no, we're getting 10 times as many impressions on our Twitter posts. Let's make that not happen. Come on now. Come on now. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're smoking. Yeah, I thought that was great. That one absolutely spiraled way further than Chris thought it would. There's so many people have quote retweeted and absolutely just roasted Chris for trying to do that. But it's not going to matter because Girls Frontline fans are insane and will continue Girls Frontline posting. And there's nothing Chris can do about it, so they may as well embrace it. And I too will now be Girls Frontline posting on Chris posts. Just like Robinson. Yeah, Chris definitely made their problem worse. They made their problem worse. They blew it out of proportion. If they had done nothing, then I wouldn't have started Girls Frontline posting under their posts. And I know many other people wouldn't have either. All right, chat. I did say we had something new. We've got something new that I need to show on stream because, well, that's what stream is for, right? So we've got something new. I've teased this quite a bit leading up to now. Got a bug bite on my elbow. What a horribly inconsiderate mosquito. We got something new. I've teased it a bit till now. This one is, I don't know, is this my most normie gun ever? It's very possible. It's very possible. Although I guess I do have a P365 I carry. That one's probably more normie than this one. And I'm trying to, like, how do I show this at all without instantly giving away what it is? Because this is a very easy one to guess. Oh, can you see the shadow? See the profile of the box? Glock 19. It is not a Glock 19. So here, hold on. Wait, we can we can see the shadow. Oh, there we go. We got shadow. Box shadow. The box has finger grooves on it. Hellcat? It is not a Hellcat. Nightwolf was kind of on the right track. It's a Keltec. It's not a Keltec. It's not a Keltec. Glock 17, getting warmer. Getting warmer. I do need to get more Keltecs though. I've only got a couple of Keltecs. Need more. Glock 18. I wish it was a Glock 18. Glock 23. It's not a Glock 23. Mao 17L. It is. We've got first ever on stream. Well, not even on stream. My first ever Glock box. Joke's on you, it's just a box. No, there are things in here. It's a SIG! You can tell because it says SIG really big on it right here. So we have my very first. It's my first. Chat, you're witnessing my first time owning a Glock. Gen 5. Oh, we can do box opening stream. We can do a box opening stream right here, chat. First of all, the fact that Glock boxes just like spring open, it bothers me for some reason. Like just have a cutout in there for all the stuff that's in there. We have though Glock. He's pulling his Glock out. Chad, avert your eyes. He's pulled out his Glock. He just whipped it right out. Want. Yeah, so these are on crazy sales right now. Glocks are on crazy sales currently. And since they are being discontinued, I mean, you gotta. But these, you can get Glock 17Ls sub $500 currently, which is crazy. Obviously, that's like before shipping, but before shipping, before transfer fees, sub $500. And they're being discontinued. So, like, you gotta. But in here, you have all the standard Glocky things. You've got this piece of garbage that literally no one ever uses. Magazines, backstraps, reading material that no one ever reads, probably. And the important part. Glog. The Glog. The going out of business blowout cell. Yeah, so we have Glock. Long Glock. And it is, honestly, I like it. I've not shot it yet, clearly. So I do finally have a Glock. Looks like a normal 17 with my finger length. It's pretty long. I mean, look, it's supposed to end right there. Goes all the way out to there. That's like a full knuckle and a half. Starting at the small knuckles, obviously. So, you can now welcome the first Glock to stream. And we can, hold on, we can put it next to the not Glock. The first, because for some reason this one came first. This one is longer, purely because of the threaded barrel. And the suppressor, obviously. That makes it quite a bit longer. Shoot them akimbo. It is very, very Glocky. Count Glock cherry popped. Yeah, you guys witnessed my Glock cherry pop right here. Or maybe you witnessed the aftermath of my Glock cherry popping. That sounds, well, I was gonna say that sounds strange, as if it didn't sound strange the first time. There it is. There's the 17L. Because I had to. Because sometimes you have to sell a gun to buy a gun. And I am a big fan. So there it is. There it is, chat. This is my first Glock. And I'm gonna be honest, I kind of see this being my only Glock. Unless Glock does something very interesting and unexpected. Real question, what optic am I gonna put on it? Honestly, I'm probably not going to. Because I don't see myself shooting this enough to warrant an optic. And also, I hate the plate system. I hate the Glock plate system. It's awful. Have you thought about painting bullets on your nails? I have not. That sounds like way too much work. Would you consider Gen 6 to be new and exciting? No. No, I would not. The only Glock I might consider is if they imported... See, what is it? The 46, I believe? I believe it's the 46. With the rotating barrel. I would buy the rotating barrel Glock. But Glock Gen 6 is literally just SIG P320 except Glock. It's just the modular fire control group Glock. And that is not interesting to me. I don't know, there's too many modular fire control group Glocks now for it to be an interesting and new idea. Gen 6, we're bringing back finger grooves and adding more serrations. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of like slide serrations. I think slide serrations are cool. I literally have this gun that is, like, if you look up slide serrations in the encyclopedia, you'll find this gun. Like, oh my goodness, look at those serrations. I am a fan of slide serrations. I don't like finger grooves, though. What is that? Excalibur? Yeah, this is the Grand Power Excalibur Mark 12. So this is the... Currently, they are on the Mark 23 for the rotating barrel. This is the older version. Still a rotating barrel, but it is the Mark 12. Not even a real fire control unit chassis. Just a fancy 26 frame with grip extensions. Oh, is that like the... Oh, who's doing that? Is it PTR has that already? Where is it? Yeah, this thing. The pistol. It's just got it's got the short frame, and you just add segments onto it, make it longer. Also, not a revolutionary idea. Oh, there we go. There's a picture separated out. Just make it longer. I only just got that. Excalibur sounds like Excalibur. Yeah, that yeah, it is a pun. It is literally a pun in the model name of that gun. That's how the patent made it look. That would be highly unfortunate. If PTR was cool, they would make a roller delayed handgun. Someone already makes a roller delayed handgun. Calico. Calico has a roller delayed handgun. It's probably not very practical to, like, carry. but it does exist. Handgun. The Calico one is definitely a handgun. It's a very large handgun, but it's not like a handgun like an AR pistol is a handgun. Wizard of Lizard. Hello. Welcome. Like the HKP9, but modern. What? Why modern? Just HKP9. No need for all this modernization nonsense. That's crazy. Can you get a 17L threaded barrel? Yes. In this gun. This gun right here has a 17L threaded barrel. I don't know if it's interchangeable because it's Gen 3 pattern, but you can get 17L threaded barrels. Glock 17L Gen 5 threaded. Yeah, Gen 5 is not backwards compatible for barrels. You can buy them though. So here's one for the low price of $265 before shipping and tax. So yes, you can get them. No, I probably will not be doing that. Because it's Glock perfection. Why? It literally is like in their branding. It's perfect already. Why would I want to change it? Got one of these Sportsman's. I do I have one of these? $10,000 gun. No, I do not. No, I do not have a Barrett M82. I'd use carry handle for hip firing. I've definitely seen people do that before. Gen 5 uses Glock 19 size barrel lugs on full width models instead of having multiple sizes. I mean, it makes sense from a manufacturing standpoint. Do you have any good holster options for my concealed carry on that? On a Barrett M82? A sling. A sling and a really large coat. They were only $7,500 Black Friday. Oh, well, $77,500. That's just like pocket change. Yeah, I'll just pick one of those up real quick. So you can put a Gen 5 17L barrel in a Glock 26. That'd be beautiful. And I need someone to do that. Not me though, because I don't want to buy a Glock 26. Take one of these for 10K over a Barrett. Yeah, me too, honestly. Honestly, If you gave me $11,000 to spend on one gun, I would buy this over the Barrett. I like this gun better. I think it's cooler. Also, you don't have to buy 50 BMG, which is wildly expensive. Hacker. I feel like I should get a free M82 since it's my state's official rifle. Seems logical. I mean, you should at least get a tax write-off, I would think. Get a tax write-off for buying your state's gun. Why is it capped at 30 rounds? What, the M249? Because the M249, for those who don't know, can accept both belts and Stanag mags. And not every M249 that FN sells comes with a belt box. Yeah, so you can feed your M249 with a Stanag mag. Like, you got to get Paratrooper Edition. It depends. It depends on what kind of vibe you're going. The stock on the Paratrooper version sucks, though. I'm gonna be honest. The Paratrooper stock looks cool. This is a cool looking stock. Friggin' sucks, though. Actually holding one of these with the Paratrooper stock is awful. Not a fan. Shipped to Hot Springs, Arkansas. Yes, that's where I am, Arkansas. Paratrooper stocks always suck. I mean, probably not always, but nothing immediately comes to mind as a Paratrooper stock that doesn't suck. At least suck more than the standard version. The trigger on semi-auto ones is pretty diabolical. I mean, it's just diabolical because it's semi-auto. The M249 is not known for having a amazing crisp trigger pull, even the not semi-auto version. Arasaka with the door hinge, that doesn't count. The door hinge Arasaka was not... No. No. That always looks good. Paratrooper stocks do look really cool. I will say Paratrooper stocks look awesome. Not sure how true it is, but supposedly it's not very reliable with mags, and it mangles the feed lips. And so, mag feeding your M249, as you can see right there. We open this in a new tab. So right there, this little trapdoor, that's where you stuff in your Stanag mag. When you put a magazine in the M249 and run it off of that, whenever the action moves after you shoot, the action moves at a different speed than it would if you were running belts through it, because this gun is designed primarily to use belts.
Velociraptor093 just traded with 3 viewers.
Velociraptor, welcome. Welcome, Velociraptor. And Raiders. Hello, hello. How's it going? Welcome, Raiders. How were you doing? How was Aliens Fireteam Elite? I don't know that game. But welcome. Welcome.
The Asteroid just subscribed with Prime.
And the Asteroid. Thank you. Thank you for the Prime subscription. Very much appreciated. Chat, did you know? Did you know that every month, if you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription to use on your favorite Oshi? It doesn't have to be me, but it's literally free money, and so you may as well use it. All right, so real quick, we're going over.
Deploying reinforcements.
Whoa.
Spidey Boy 287 just followed.
Spidey Boy, welcome. Welcome, Spidey Boy. Thank you for the follow. And so we are going over M249. I guess right now we're talking about M249 feeding mechanisms. So the M249 was designed to feed from a belt, and the movement of the action was meant to be able to expend some energy in moving the belt through the action. And so when you're feeding it through a magazine, the action doesn't have the whole movement of the belt to take a little energy out of the system. So the fire rate will be a little higher. And if you're feeding with a magazine, the action can move so fast that it will outrun how fast the spring can push rounds into the action. And so I knew a guy who was an armorer for the army, and he said that if you didn't have a really strong spring in your mag, it just wouldn't work. It would just malfunction all the time. And so you have to get a really strong magazine spring to run in this and have it run reliably, at least somewhat reliably. And then, yeah, these do also have, I don't remember who said it. Who said that they beat up the feed lips? I don't remember. Someone said it. Someone said it. I remember reading it. I don't remember who. But these do have a reputation for mangling feed lips on mags. Not because of anything inherent with the gun, other than there's nothing to prevent over-insertion. And if you insert your mag too far, then it will mangle up your mag. And I would guess that in a combat situation, if you're using an M249 and you have to use magazines.
Deploying reinforcements.
Doomslayer_101 just followed.
Doomslayer, thank you for the follow. Welcome. If you're using an M249 in combat, this is just hypothetical. I've never done this. If you're using an M249 in combat and you have to use a Stanag mag in this thing, I'm going to guess you're going to be a little bit under pressure. You might be a little flustered, and you might be Hulk smashing that thing in there. And you might overinsert it and mush up your feed lips. The process of inserting the mag will also chew up the feed lips. If you don't hold the mag release down as you insert the mag, that's true as well. So yeah, so there is, you can see this has a little dust cover on it. There's a lever here that you can pull to lift up the dust cover. and so you can very gently and properly insert your magazine. You can also just ram your magazine through the dust cover and it will get out of the way. But you are supposed to not do that. All right, hold on. I got a little behind on chat. I started tism ranting. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. How much did I miss? How much did I miss? I missed a lot. Oh my goodness, you guys popped off. Like I have the A team stock on my Mini 14. It's horrible to shoot with, but love it. The A team stock does look cool. French Moss 36 underfolder. I'm a big fan of underfolders. Just like in general. Underfolders and overfolders are cool. Wizard of Lizard, can I use it for bird hunting? An M249? Do it. M249 needs adjustable gas for mag feeding. That would help a lot. You are correct. Like the Negev. They would help quite a bit. I've lost her. Hello. Got caught in ads. Aliens is fun. Me and my buddy finished the final main campaign. Almost crapped ourselves running from Alien Queen. Very nice. Don't poop yourself on stream though. It's against TOS. If I take off the para stock, is it a pistol? Yes. If you take the stock off an M249, it's a pistol. It's why pictures of 249 with mag is so rare. They are very rare because it sucks. Seen you around Kirsha and Leaf's Discord. Didn't know I streamed. Oh, well, hello. Hello. I do hang around in various Discords. Chat makes fun of me for how many Discords I'm in sometimes. I think more they make fun of me for how many unread messages I have in Discords. It's only a few thousand though. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Literally 1984. How dare. Thankfully, I did not actually. I was puckering. Yeah, don't poop on stream. Fun fact about pooping on stream. It's a sentence I didn't expect to ever say. Fun fact about pooping on stream. Aphelion got a warning from Twitch during her last laxatives stream, because I think the laxatives may have gotten the better of the streamer in that situation, and Twitch didn't like that. Lizard, in my state, I'm allowed to have a loaded pistol in my car. I think I found my new pistol. I'm gonna have a everyday carry, a M249 pistol. I also can't use belts longer than 10 rounds. Wait. If you live in a capacity restriction state, you have a 10 round belt in your M249. I would imagine having an M249 in a capacity restriction state would cause other problems, but I could be wrong. Thought it was because it fell under self-harm. Yeah, I think that is technically what the allegation was. Uh, Although I think, didn't Fillion say that she was going to be doing another laxative stream? Didn't that happen? I thought she said she was going to do another one, like after. She got a warning. I don't know. I could be wrong. Fillion is literally insane, though. At least in Maryland, you can buy the belt in any other state and just bring it in. But can you have the M249? Sounds cool. I'm still hanging out for the dehydration Steam meta. What? The dehydration stream? Like, for every sub I get, I won't drink water for 10 minutes. Can I survive chat's wallet? That sounds like a horrible idea. I know she's the flipping lady. Fillion is the flipping lady. Semi-auto belt feds are legal with fin grip. So far, no one has been arrested for attaching more than 10 links together in California. Oh, can you imagine an M249 with a fin grip and a little itty bitty tiny 10 round belt? M249 legal in Maryland? It's crazy. Shoot 10 rounds for every sub. Can your wallet survive chat's wallet? Joke's on you, I'ma shoot 22s. Then 10 rounds is only like 50 cents. If you have a 10 plus round belt you linked during Freedom Week, it's fine. What? California is not even a real place. California only allows the 5.7 from FN. They must play a lot of CSGO. That or FN is the only people who make a 5.7 pistol with wallets and connections deep enough to actually get on the roster. Hold on. I'm scrolling Twitter in the background. Oh, why? Since we talked about Chris and getting suspended for hiding all the replies from girls frontline spammers. HK and Robinson managers. You get used to it. Chris USA. That's beautiful. It's beautiful. That's wonderful. Chris will get used to it. They'll learn to embrace it. They'll learn. Maybe they'll learn. One day. And the Smith 5.7 looks better than the FN. If the FN 5.7 wasn't so iconic, then I would agree with you. But the FN 5.7 has been in way too much media, like games and movies. Well, unless you're talking about the new FN 5.7. The new FN 5.7 sucks. That thing's awful. Actually terrible. The FN 5.7 Mark III, I hate it. It lost all of the iconic look of the FN 5.7. But it also didn't become any more functional. Except for it has an optics mounting plate. Other than that, though, it's a downgrade. The only HKs you can get in California are the P2000 and VP9. Aren't those both getting discontinued? I don't think so. I haven't heard anything about those getting discontinued. I could be wrong, though. I know there is the new version of the VP9. I don't think they're completely replacing the old version, though. A1, yeah, the A1 is the newest version of the VP9. It would be surprising if California's government worked fast enough to get that on the roster, even if HK went through all the proper steps to do it. VP9A1 Q4 expected in California. And so once the VP9A1 is in California, then HK might stop paying California for the privilege of selling the regular VP9 there. Looks like the only place they were selling the P2000 was in the US, and people think it's because it was on the California roster. Many such cases. I'm pretty sure that's why Glock hasn't completely discontinued the Gen 3 yet, honestly. Can you get the Keltec 5.7 in California? I severely doubt it. The Keltec P50, or I guess the Sub 2000, is also available in 5.7 now. But yeah, something tells me that a handgun that can hold 50 rounds is not gonna be on California's approved roster. My theory is Gen 3 and 4 are being retired to make room for Gen 6. It's not just Gen 3 and 4 being retired. A lot of Gen 5 is being retired as well. Like Glock literally discontinued a Gen 5 that had been out for just a few months. And Glock is still keeping some of the Gen 3s. The only Glock 17 that Glock will continue to make is the Glock 17 Gen 3. Which is probably because that's on California's roster. That's the only Glock 17 that Glock will continue to make. Which is dumb. Wouldn't want to cut out Cali completely. I mean, we could just kind of scoop them off into the ocean. And just cut off the coastal part of California, scoot it off into the ocean, and then make a new California that's more cool. Is P320 in California? Yes, the P320 pretty recently got on the California roster. I buy a lot of those for my juggling act I do on the street. It's a high-risk juggling act. That might be more dangerous than the people who juggle, like, chainsaws or flaming machetes or whatever. Chat, would you rather juggle chainsaws or SIG P320s with a round in the chamber? Nah, SIG says it's safe. Okay, well, in that case. In that case. P320 booby trap. He said booby. Hee. SIG gaslighting like an abusive ex. Yeah. My booby trap is that I carry it in the holster, the P320. I mean, as long as you're not appendix carrying the P320, even if it goes off, you might get a little bit of a racing stripe on your leg, but you'll be fine. You see the new wire piece on the Luigi gun? Like the Daily Wire? No, I don't read their articles, generally. But if you link it, we can read it on stream, if people would be interested. I felon carry 320 like a Chad. Cartel carry it. Just stick it in your pants. No holster at all. Throw it in my gym shorts. Just in the pocket. Throw it in your gym shorts with your keys and wallet. Carry 6 o'clock. Carrying 6 o'clock is awful. Carrying 6 o'clock is just deciding that you want every chair you sit in to be uncomfortable. Want a chest holder from Model 60? Are you going to be in bear country? That's where I see people take chest holders. Chest holders? Chest holsters? When people are out like bear country or out hunting big game. I am Dirty Harold. Favorite PSR? Oh, is Is this the... Oh,
This
it is. Wired. Oh, Wired. Okay. This might be interesting. This, I mean, we're kind of talking about suppressors today. So it's somewhat on topic for overall today. It's kind of Glocky, kind of suppressory. All right, we'll watch it. We'll watch Wired video on the Luigi assassin gun. Let's see how this is. Was it a ghost gun? I thought it was a standard pistol. It's my understanding that it was a quote-unquote ghost gun.
This is the gun used in the most high-profile assassination in recent memory. Well, it's not actually the literal gun Luigi Mangione allegedly used to kill United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. But it is the exact model of firearm, and we made it with just a 3D printer and some parts ordered off the internet. Some people call this a ghost gun because no government agency has any record of its existence. I didn't get a background check or show ID. No gun control at all. I'm Andy Greenberg. I investigate the strange, dark, and subversive corners of the internet for Wired. This is Hack Lab.
No way, he just called 3D printing guns strange, dark, and subversive corners of the internet. No way.
I made Luigi Mangione's gun. As a journalist, I've covered the digital DIY gun-making scene since the beginning. In 2013, I was there for the very first test of the first fully 3D printed gun, the Liberator.
That thing was ugly.
Years later, I even built an untraceable AR-15 ghost gun in Wired's office.
Based.
To test just how far the tech had come.
Needs to, someone help this man with his shooting stance, please.
That was 10 years ago. Then, when Luigi Mangione was arrested in an Altoona, Pennsylvania McDonald's late last year, I wrote a news piece about the gun found in his backpack. According to the DIY gunsmiths I spoke to, it seemed to be a Chairman Juan V1, a tweak of a popular, partially 3D printed Glock-style design known as the FMDA 19.2, an acronym that stands for the libertarian slogan, "Free Men Don't Ask." So I wanted to know,
it's a good slogan.
How easy is it for someone to build a deadly and untraceable weapon like this now? Has the law finally caught up with the reality of ghost guns? To find out, I decided to make one. So I went to Araby, Louisiana to a...
Has the law caught up with the reality of ghost guns? What do you mean, has the law caught up?
Deploying reinforcements.
Blitz 3062 just followed.
Blitz 3062, welcome. Americans have literally always been able to make their own guns at home. Like, literally, there were people fighting the British with guns that they made at home. Guns are so easy to make. Is this guy someone who still believes you can order a hitman from the dark web? Well, I mean, you can. Except like 75% of the time, it'll just be an FBI agent.
A gun range outside New Orleans, owned by James Reeves, an attorney and a popular YouTuber.
James, nice to meet you.
Our experiment here that we're trying to do is to actually 3D print Luigi Mangione's gun, just like he did.
Allegedly.
Oh, look at this guy looking all spiffy. Man, he suited up for this video.
Thank you. But my question for you first as a lawyer is all of this actually legal?
Totally legal, but it depends on the purpose. So if you're making a firearm for yourself, there's no prohibition in the Gun Control Act of 1968 that would prevent you from making a gun for yourself. If you're making it for someone else, if you're selling them, distributing, totally different story. You've got to have a license.
A lot of states have made this illegal, but here in Louisiana, we're still good to go?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have free country down here. And the great state of Louisiana.
Over the years, the U.S. government
Good job,
has certainly
Louisiana.
tried to regulate 3D printed and other kinds of ghost guns. After Cody Wilson released printable files for the Liberator online, the government ordered his company, Defense Distributed, to take them down. By 2018, Cody Wilson briefly won a legal fight to repost them on his website, but multiple states sued, shutting it down again. Then in 2022, the Biden administration really tightened regulations, requiring serial numbers and background checks for ghost gun kits, commercially available packages of parts which are designed to make it easy to finish and assemble a working gun. That led to legal challenges which were settled in March with a Supreme Court decision upholding those new regulations. But if you're not using one of those...
Okay, hold on now. The Supreme Court was not a across the board uphold. It was upholding that specific scenario, not every gun kit ever. It was specifically this company's one kit, not all kits ever.
Kits, it's really only state laws that restrict making ghost guns, and they vary really widely. New York enforces strict rules on self-made guns, requiring serial numbers on the receivers. California even prohibits the sale of 3D printers if they're intended to make a gun. But for the rest of the United States in between, including Louisiana, where we are now, it's still essentially the Wild West for DIY firearms. While the legal battle has gone back and forth, the technology has just kept relentlessly advancing. Since the first 3D printed gun parts began to surface online in 2012 and 2013, we've seen an explosion of digital DIY firearms. Fully or partially printable rifles, AR-15s, and even fully automatic printable...
3D printed guns have come so far, honestly. Like from the single shot Liberator, like just break of plastic, to now things that actually, you know, look like reasonable guns.
Machine guns. And thanks to a very committed community of online gunsmiths, many of whom are bent on defeating gun control, that evolution is still continuing. The first step to building the gun allegedly used by Mangione was easy. I found the gun plans online in minutes. Certain file sharing sites are packed with DIY firearm blueprints, detailed instructions, everything. In states like California or New Jersey, parts of this gun printing process, even sharing the files, is illegal. But in Louisiana, no such law.
Oh, is sharing information illegal? I think there was a certain British activist who warned about the freedom of information. I think he wrote 2 books about it.
In fact, according to U.S. gun control laws, only one component, known as the frame of a Glock-style pistol, is considered the gun. If I make that part myself, say with a 3D printer, and I combine it with commercially bought components for the rest of the weapon, I can basically circumvent all regulations. So, armed with a shopping list and a...
No. No, you can't. You cannot circumvent all regulations if you just build a gun yourself. You still have to comply with all gun regulations. Like, you can't build a machine gun at home. You can't build a short barrel rifle or shotgun or AOW at home without going through the registration process. You don't get to just circumvent all laws because you make it yourself. And obviously it's a crime of possession only. So if no one figures out that it's there, then you can't be prosecuted. That doesn't mean it's not illegal, though.
Credit card, we ordered everything we needed. A 3D printer, plastic filaments, and household products like epoxy were all just a few clicks away on sites like Lowe's or Amazon. And the more specialized components were available on sites that sell gun parts, just not the guns themselves. A few days later,
Watch him talk the entire time about 3D printing and not bring up that you need a barrel and or slide. To be fair, buying a barrel and slide off the internet is way easier than 3D printing the frame. The 3D printing, while way easier than it used to be, it still is more difficult if you haven't done it before than just ordering the other parts.
Every ingredient I needed to make Mangioni's gun arrived in the mail for the grand total of $1,144.67 plus shipping.
Just buy a Glock. You can buy a Glock used for like $300. That's way too much work.
And that includes the price of the 3D printer. This is like Christmas Day. This looks like a slide, very much like an obvious gun part. Kind of crazy that you can just order this. So it's kind of like a very interesting.
Oh my gosh. Holy bejeezles, chat. You can buy gun parts on the internet that don't work? What? That's crazy. You can buy single gun parts that don't function without the rest of the gun? How dare? How dare? Oh my goodness.
And fun technical challenge, but I keep having to remind myself not only that we're making a lethal weapon, but that I'm also potentially retracing the steps of an alleged murderer who carried out exactly this process. 3D printers work by extruding heated plastic filament through a nozzle, layer by.
Let's not also forget all the people that do this, which is a lot of people. There's a lot of 3D printed gun enthusiasts out there who don't commit murder. I feel like I shouldn't have to point this out, that it's weird for someone to commit murder. But committing murder is in fact not in the norm of things. Like this guy seems to be making it out to be.
Layer to slowly create the object. We're going to print 2 frames just to be sure. Printing these 2 frames will take about 13 hours, which is pretty quick. Back when Cody Wilson, a pioneer in the DIY gun movement, printed the Liberator, the original one-shot 100% 3D printed pistol in 2013, 3D printers were much slower, and the materials were pretty unreliable by comparison and cracked easily. When Cody Wilson tested that first ever 3D printed gun, he was concerned that it might blow up in his hands. He even used a string to pull the trigger for the first time. To some degree, I'm still a little worried about that, to be honest. DIY gun fails are still pretty common. When I made an AR-15 in Wired's office in 2015, a gunsmith warned me the frame of the gun that I had made wouldn't be reliable enough and recommended I use an aluminum lower receiver.
This guy got advice from a FUD, for sure. There's not very many pressures put on the frame of an AR. On the receiver, I guess. This guy got his gunsmithing advice from a FUD.
I'd made with a computer-controlled milling machine instead. We're about to see how much that question of reliability has changed over the years. Okay, let's get started.
You're right. You're right. They always talk about gun control and never talk about murder control. That's true. It's amazing how convenient that is for them. So his lower wasn't 3D printed? The Luigi lower was. This guy was talking about a previous video that he did himself about home-built AR-15s.
Hopefully this whole experiment won't literally blow up in my face. The next morning, I returned to check on the 3D printed frames. This is pretty wild. Like, these things look like actual gun parts. So this looks like a big block.
My man, 3D prints gun parts. Acts surprised that they looked like gun parts. This is why journalists aren't real.
But all of this is support structure that just holds up the top of the frame here. So once I crack this off, oh yeah, I don't need to even clean anything out of this internal cavity here. This just looks almost like commercially made. It's so clean on the inside. It's just really impressive what a 3D printer can do today, overnight. So the frame is done. Now it's time to assemble this gun. I know from experience that it's tricky assembling a gun from scratch. There are lots of little pieces, and to be honest, I have no idea what I'm doing. So that's why I've reached out to
Is this guy missing a part of his brain? He is a journalist. Hey, PSR. Cool guy.
a DIY gun expert and YouTuber who calls himself Print Shoot Repeat. He prefers to keep his face covered to preserve his anonymity. So what do you think of this 3D printed 9mm frame?
It looks beautiful. It's very excellent print quality.
So how do we get started?
So, do you see that hole there?
I saw the hole at the bottom, yeah. So you are a 3D printed gun.
Wait. This kind of seems like showing how to build a gun on YouTube, which is against YouTube TOS. But it's okay because this guy calls himself a journalist? Interesting. Interesting. I love double standards.
Aficionado, what is it about these things that appeals to you?
I think the thing I like the most about it, aside from exercising your constitutional rights, which is awesome, but you're able to make guns that you can't buy. There are these really cool, intricate, neat designs that people create and test that you can make that you actually can't purchase in a store, but also to be anonymous and private with your gun making.
But there's also this element to 3D printed guns that somebody who's mentally ill or a felon or Luigi Mangione can, fabricate their own gun and go out and commit a crime with it. I mean, how do you?
All right, let's be honest, chat. The mentally ill and the felons are not going to go through the work to build their own gun. Criminals are so lazy. Like that's literally why they do crime. Like robbing people for $10 on the street is not a better use of time than just showing up to work. Criminals aren't building their own guns. They're stealing them. He's really liking his drill press there. If I had a drill press, I would really like it too, to be fair. YouTube full of double standards. They have transparent clothes video on YouTube where you can see nipple, areola, and vagina. It's disgusting. Where? Don't tell me. Don't link that. I will ban you. Don't link it. Yeah, you're right. YouTube TOS is very bad.
How do you feel about that?
Freedom is ultimately dangerous. There's no way to stop people from hurting each other, unfortunately. I don't love that people commit crimes and kill each other with guns, but they are designed for killing.
See, that right there, I think more people need to be honest about and acknowledge that people aren't a fan of other people killing each other. I know that's crazy, but people shouldn't be killing each other. No one thinks they should be, except for the people doing it. Pretty sure stats show that homemade guns used in crime show up more in countries that don't have mass private gun ownership. It's true. Gun crime in general, like gun crime per like gun ownership is higher. Like if you were to make a graph, like a per capita per gun crimes rate is so much higher in countries that try to regulate guns more. And that's like not even just building your own guns. Are there still some states where you don't even have a background check or waiting period for private sale? I'm pretty sure that's most states, actually. Most states still allow private party transfers.
I'm not going to deny that, but we live in a country that is relatively free when it comes to a lot of our laws, and especially the Second Amendment.
It is kind of remarkable, the precision of this. It seems like a commercial piece.
The design of this particular pistol was so good in 2020 that it's still the go-to Glock style frame. It's open source, and designers can take the raw blueprint of this thing and then add their own tweaks to it.
If you really were like a lone wolf killer trying to make this thing alone in your garage, where would you learn this?
Or if you were just someone who's into building guns and not a
I like that. Or if you're just someone who likes building guns. Like let's not try to pretend it's only psychopaths out here doing this. Thank you, PSR.
lone wolf killer. But there are assembly videos, particularly like the sites where you download some of the files, but it's a lot of trial and error.
The slide to me is like shocking to even look at. It's like, I can't believe this is just a component of a gun. And so it's just strange that like
I can't believe this is a component of a gun. Holds the slide of a gun. Journalists aren't real people.
regulated part is not the part that holds the rounds.
Yep, that's per the ATF. The ATF decided that. So thanks, ATF. This can be challenging because what can happen is the rear rails sometimes don't line up perfectly. Yep, now pull it back as hard as you can. Now let it go. All right, now we got our gun. And just make sure you don't point it at anyone.
I see the empty chamber.
Yep.
And now we're gonna put in one of these magazines. And which one do you think we should use?
What I found on the evidence photograph, there was two magazines. One was a Glock 17 magazine, which holds 17 rounds versus a Glock 19 magazine. This is a Magpul P-Mag. This one had jacketed hollow points in it. This one had jacketed hollow points.
Hold on.
This one,
Go back
there was
to picture.
two magazines.
This one looks like a actual Glock branded mag. This looks like... This is not a Glock brand. Is this like a Metgar Glock mag or something? What magazine is this? Hold on. I have one of those. Pro mag. It's the Pro mag. P mag. Not Pro mag. P mag. It is the P mag. Okay.
This one was a Glock 17 magazine, which holds 17 rounds versus a Glock 19 magazine. This is a Magpul P-Mag. This one had jacketed hollow points in it. Going off that, I would say we should stick this one in.
This is essentially Luigi Mangioni's gun, but we're still missing one component.
Yes, critical component.
Which is the suppressor.
Exactly.
Suppressors, also known as silencers, have been highly regulated under the National Firearms Act.
Why is that all the off-brand mags are so stiff compared to stock Glock mags? I don't know. It's a good question. You should ask the people who make them.
Since 1934, and 3D printing one without a certain kind of gun-making license would be a serious felony. Since James has that license, he's going to do it for us.
So it's quite a process to legally own and possess a suppressor. The second you print out a suppressor, felony, prison, so it's a very serious deal.
3D printed suppressors are a relatively new phenomenon, and the technology to make ones like the FTN suppressor allegedly found on Mangione has come a long way in a very short time. So
Okay, hold on. Hold on. I'm having to stop this video so much to correct things or to add more context. 3D printed suppressors, yes, come a long way in very recent years. Homemade suppressors, though? Homemade suppressors have existed since suppressors have existed. It's literally just a tube that threads onto your gun and has some stuff in it. Like, literally, you can build a suppressor with parts that you buy at the hardware store. Like, I haven't, priced it out. I would be surprised if it cost more than, $30 in hardware parts to make a suppressor. 3D printing a suppressor is not the most cost-efficient way to do it. Oil filter is true. There's oil filter suppressors are so popular that they literally have showed up in Call of Duty games. You don't even need to look at a 3D printer to make one of those.
So the suppressor is printing, and it looks like it's going to take another 3.5 hours.
Yeah, it smells a little bit like a burning vacuum cleaner. When this is done, we actually have to fill out a couple set of federal forms.
After a few more hours of 3D printing, we had our suppressor. We wrapped it in hockey tape just as Luigi Mangione allegedly did. So I think we're now ready to put this thing together, right?
Yeah, go right ahead, thread it on.
Once I screwed it onto the barrel of our gun,
Isn't that the guy that does all the SHOT Show videos? Yeah, that was James Reeves. James Reeves shows up a lot. He does, in fact, do more than just SHOT Show videos, which is incredible. He also does other gun shilling videos.
we had the complete configuration he was accused of using as a murder weapon. This thing just got at least like twice as scary. Before heading to the range to test it, I wanted to get the gun control side of the story. So I spoke to Nick Saplina at the nonprofit Every Town for Guns.
Wait, before we go further, we need the gun control side of the story? That's what you've been doing, my guy. Like, oh, I can't believe I bought all this stuff online. Oh, this looks twice as scary. Okay, now we're gonna get the gun control side. That's what you've been doing. Oh my goodness.
Safety.
3D guns are a whole new ballgame. I think 3D printed guns are about to have their moment.
I've covered this world of 3D printed guns since 2013. And back then, I wrote about this believing it was kind of a science fictional future phenomenon.
I do not think this is a future problem. ATF estimated that between 2016 and 20...
I also don't think it's a future problem. Because I don't think it's a problem. It can't be a future problem if it's not a problem.
22, over 70,000 ghost guns were recovered at crime scenes across the country.
No. Hold on. We're pausing to add context again. That giant number of ghost guns that were recovered at crime scenes are not 3D printed homemade guns. The Department of Justice changed the definition of ghost gun from a homemade gun to any gun without a serial number, which means that includes stolen guns where someone scratched off a serial number. That's not a homemade, that's not a 3D printed gun. And the vast majority of crime guns is that a stolen gun someone scratched a serial number off of. Because criminals are lazy and not smart. And you know what it's a lot easier to do than 3D print a gun? Steal one and scratch the serial number off. Streamer, you're ruining their agenda. Then their agenda shouldn't be stupid.
The technology has really come of age. The printers are better, the materials are better, and the designs are better.
There are models of gun that have come out in the last few years. These almost fully 3D printed semi-automatic rifles that truly look like something out of science fiction that are really powerful and really accurate.
They do look sci-fi.
One of the things that has developed over the last decade or more is a community of creators and sharing designs and improving
the Glock
designs. And a lot of that are values that creators, I think, really can embrace. But we can't lose sight that this is about firearms. You have a right to personal protection, but when you're purposefully creating firearms that are flooding communities with illegal firearms that are used.
Which communities are flooded with 3D printed guns? Just tell me which ones.
in crimes. And when we're innovating to make them harder to regulate, you have to ask yourself the question, just how serious is this community about doing their part to protect the community? I mean, we have seen already that you can actually have most of the parts of the firearm be fully 3D printed. That is the state of the art.
Nuh-uh. No.
To make them harder to regulate, you have to ask yourself the question, just how serious is this community about doing their part to protect the community? I mean, we have seen already that you can actually.
This is a prop gun. Oh, you can 3D print a whole gun. Yeah, this isn't gonna work. This is a chunk of plastic. This is like the mold that you make a Kydex holster around. You can 3D print a whole gun. This is less dangerous than a Nerf gun.
Have most of the parts of the firearm be fully 3D printed. That is the state of the art right now. And that is going to be the next chapter of the ghost gun problem in this country.
Ghost guns are a blessing, not a problem.
I might look calm on the surface, but to be honest, I'm sweating a little bit. It's a strange moment when this kind of abstract and
No way, you're sweating a little bit? It's because you're wearing a jacket, gloves, and long pants inside. Sweating a little bit. Yeah, obviously.
technical series of steps finally comes together, and you remember that you've created something really powerful and quite dangerous. In fact, the exact gun that appears to have killed a man on the streets of Manhattan last year. So for this first shot, I'm gonna just hold it to the side from the hip, just in case this slide flies off the 3D printed frame and goes backwards at a high speed. Moment of truth. Wow.
How'd we do? Intact?
Totally flawless, yeah.
Nice. Decently quiet for supersonic ammunition as well.
Well, let's load it up again.
All right.
Decently quiet is still pretty loud. As many malfunctions as you would expect from a 3D printed gun with a 3D printed suppressor with no Nielsen device on it.
Another misfire. So I guess what's happening here is that the suppressor is preventing it from cycling properly?
Yes, what's happening is the slide's coming forward, but probably not quite enough to strike the primer and then cause a detonation downrange. But we did get a couple there, so I want to kind of give it a shot and see if I can break it in a little bit. As we saw in the DCT camera video, he was going like this after every shot, hitting the back of the slide like you did correctly. But I want to actually see if this is going to function without the suppressor attached.
Let's do that. Let's take it off.
Okay.
In a normal semi-automatic Glock, the upper part of the gun, known as its slide, which retracts with every shot, resets the trigger and loads a new round into the chamber. In the video of Thompson's murder, the gun allegedly fired by Mangione appears not to have functioned. That's a result of the suppressor attachment preventing.
Yeah, that's because the gun was made by an idiot who didn't know anything about guns. You can tell that because of that it didn't work. If anyone who knew what they were doing had committed that crime, which they wouldn't, because the people who actually know things aren't out there committing crimes. If someone who actually knew what they were doing made that, it would have worked. But again, the people who know what they're doing and could have made one that worked don't commit these crimes.
That rechambering. And yet, the CEO killer in the CCTV video didn't panic or stop to diagnose his ghost gun's apparent malfunctioning. He reacted quickly, racking the gun, shooting it, and racking again, as if he knew exactly how the weapon he had made would perform. Had the assassin practiced with his gun at a range to break it in? Had he, in fact, engaged in exactly the type of troubleshooting we were doing right now?
Not everything works, and so you got to do a little bit of filing sometimes. We've done a little bit of modifications. We're going to see if it runs semi-automatic.
You take it for a spin.
It's so close now. Oh, there we go. Oh, there it is. Yep.
Hey,
You
you just got to get through the break-in.
The gun functions as a truly semi-automatic firearm. All right, let's try the suppressor.
PSA slide. It does look like a PSA slide. PSA ad.
The suppressor on. We made some modifications to the barrel and the slide. Hopefully it'll run.
It's not gonna run with that giant suppressor on there.
You were manually racking it, but just like we saw in the video of Brian Thompson's killing. And to be clear, like the thing that we had to file was not the 3D printed part. It was this kind of slightly crappy commercial part. You know, I imagine that for allegedly Mangione himself, he probably had similar kind of hiccups and then probably did take a file to it at some point.
Indeed, and it seemed like he knew that it was going to malfunction in the way that we just saw and was ready for that malfunction to happen.
Right. In my hands
That is true.
is the gun that allegedly
It
killed.
did seem like Mangione knew what was going to happen. He just couldn't fix it beforehand.
CEO Brian Thompson. The same Glock-style pistol, same parts, same suppressor. As I squeezed the trigger and racked the gun in the exact same way the killer allegedly did, I felt the same explosive recoil he would have. And it drove home the disturbing realization that our experiment in building a lethal, uncontrollable weapon had been a success.
A lethal, uncontrollable weapon. Bud, just use two hands. You can control it better.
What kind of law or regulation do you actually imagine could get a grip on this issue?
The key
this should be
part
good.
of this is to make breaking the law harder.
Guys, we just... No. Guys, we just need to make it more illegal. It's already illegal. We just need to make it more illegal. Because they don't care about the laws that are currently in place. So if we make another law, that one will stop them for sure, guys. Oh my goodness.
And the way you make breaking the law harder is to focus on the 3D printers and the sort of firmware and software that make them work. We've been here before with money counterfeiting, and the software companies like the Adobes of the world detect whether you are trying to print currency. You can't do it. We're starting.
No. Let's not pretend like counterfeiting money is the same as 3D printing a gun for personal use. First of all, 3D printing a gun is making a product. It's for personal use. And so you're not reselling them. Counterfeiting money is literally, it's already illegal, first of all. Building your own gun, not illegal. Counterfeiting money is illegal. Also, counterfeiting money is not building a product that has value to anyone. It's making something that has fake value. Just make it more illegal, guys. Just make it more illegal.
To have conversations with the folks behind these printing companies that is like, yeah, we can detect it and we can stop our printer from printing.
I can already imagine the incredible
No,
backlash.
you can't. No, you can't. If a printing company ever came out and was like, yeah, we're scanning all of your 3D prints, running them through AI to be sure you're not printing guns, then people will find a way around that. Like you can't tell me that that would be effective. Seriously. That's like saying that, yeah, we're going to make pirated movies illegal. Yep. No one's ever going to pirate movies again because we have software that can stop it. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
To any effort to kind of put DRM on 3D printers or try to just restrict computers essentially that people own.
I'm in the business of trying to save
You
lives.
wouldn't download a car. Joke's on you. Yes, I would. Are you stupid?
And the fact of the matter is, gun violence is the #1 killer of children and teens in this country.
False.
And there's lots of room for.
False. #1 killer of children? Wrong. #1 killer of children and teens? Dishonestly misleading. The vast majority of those are 18 and 19-year-old, not children, by the way, gang members.
For legal ownership, for even maybe legal printing. But the idea that we're going to sort of sit this one out because the crypto anarchists have won is not going to happen.
Crypto?
And they're going to find
What?
that those of us in the gun safety debate have a lot of fight in us as well.
I've successfully made a ghost gun. Now I have a problem. I can't legally take it back to New York where I live, and I can't legally leave it here in Louisiana or give it to someone else either. So I'm going.
Yeah, you can. You sell it to a dealer. They'll serialize it. And then you're good. You just can't sell it to a private party.
Going to turn in the parts I made to the local police. Hopefully they're not
Yeah,
gonna
I
ask me
guess.
any questions.
I guess you can
think
also do
we've
that.
Proven that a dozen years after I first started writing about 3D printed guns, it's actually easier than ever before to use digital tools to build a deadly weapon with total privacy and impunity in most of the United States, despite every effort by gun control advocates.
As it should be. As it should be.
Until that changes, and as 3D printing technology keeps getting better, it's safe to say we're going to see more ghost guns in the world, and more people, like a certain CEO killer, ready to use them.
Okay. More people ready to use them, yes. But maybe let's not encourage more people like the CEO killer to use them. Because let's not forget, the vast majority of people who do this are law-abiding people who don't regularly have thoughts about murdering. Like, let's just be sure that that's clear. Most people don't go through their lives harboring murderous intent. There it is. There's the video. My brain cells did not survive. Not all my brain cells survived that video. Yes, you can sell to a private party. You just can't make it with the intent to sell. That requires an FFL. That's true. You're right. That is an important distinction. You cannot build guns yourself without an FFL with the intent to sell them. That is true. Because intent is a very important part of crime. You need to have the intent to do it. That's what separates homicide from manslaughter, is the intent. So intent is very important when you're determining the crime. Well, chat. After oh, hold on. We have a redeem. We gotta redeem. We do have gun ASMR redeem. And by the way, I do see your redeems. I see your redeems. However, I am also not going to drop everything I'm doing to do a redeem at this second sometimes. Because reaction videos make very good YouTube slop content. And so I'll just wait till after that. So don't you worry. I see your redeem. I'll just get to it later. Alright. ASMR mode activated. Oh, hit my camera. That's probably not good for it. Why can't you give it to the guy that helped make it since he was there? Yeah, give it to PSR. PSR was there making it with you. It was a collaborative effort. Matilda found one comment that wasn't critical of the Wired video.
This
You're right. We need to go look at the comments. We gotta look at the comments. No test against a healthcare CEO. Okay, maybe let's not do that. Has the law caught up with the reality of ghost guns? No, because no crime is being committed by manufacturing your own firearms. True. You can build your own firearms in most states. Last time I checked, making your own firearm has never been illegal. And the fact they want to even try to regulate 3D printers is insane. Yes. Do you realize how many, like, Etsy shops would be crippled by regulated 3D printers? Are 3D printed lowers reliable? They can be, if you have a good 3D printer that's calibrated well, and you know what you're doing. Fix audio? Oh, you're... It was still in ASMR mode. My bad. Luigi Mangione can, fabricate their own gun and go out and commit a crime with it. Luigi Mangione has not been convicted of a crime. Okay, but he obviously will be. He's still waiting for due process, as everyone should have. Everyone should have due process. And you have to wait till due process is over to be convicted. Funny to watch all the super loaded questions. PSR's response is trying to deload them. I do think PSR did a pretty good job. He did a pretty good job of deloading the loaded questions. Dirt cheap VZ61 Scorpion clones. And the VZ61 Scorpion clones, they're 3D printed. They had these at SHOT Show. We've already looked at this video. But yeah, these things, there's this company making 3D printed VZ61 lowers, which I expect would work perfectly fine, honestly. I'm not going to get one though, because they're still 3D printed, and 3D printed things have a look and feel to them that I don't like. So these probably function perfectly fine. These guys have a whole company based on 3D printing, so I would fully expect that they know what they're doing and can make a reliable 3D print. I'm not going to buy one though, because I don't like 3D printing. I don't like the feel of it. I don't like the layers, the texture. It feels gross. I don't like it. They have to wait for the Mangione thirst traps to go home in order to start the trial. Women are actually insane, chat. Why are women so thirsty for actual, like, murderers? What I don't get is why he still had the pistol. It would be easy to strip that and destroy it. I'll tell you why he still had the pistol. Because criminals, and don't mistake the fact that he was off to a prestigious school. Criminals are stupid. Criminals are so dumb. Like the vast majority of criminals, low IQ. Like if Luigi Mangione wanted to get away with that crime and actually had thought about it, to be honest, it's pretty easy to get away with murder. There are so many unsolved murders that honestly most of them aren't committed by geniuses. It's just so easy to do. I watched Godfather 2. You smashed a revolver on the roof, and then you dump the parts in chimneys at the apartment building. Don't do that. Do apartment buildings even still have chimneys? Supposedly, the gun wasn't found on him later by a cop who had their body cam off. Interesting. All right, well, since we watched that last video about suppressors that had PSR in it, about homegrown suppressors and guns, we have this. Print in place revolver, except cylinder, firing pin, and chamber liners and trigger spring. Print in place revolver, except for this laundry list of parts. You know what that kind of looks like? You know what this kind of is reminiscent of? A little snubby Chiappa Rhino. Except this is definitely in 22. Called the Rhino. R-Y-N-O. Is it actually? The thing's ugly. And it looks like it doesn't work particularly well. It is nice. Got a clown on Chiappa sometimes. Alright, PSR. Red Bull can PLA suppressor. 2 days. Pleasantly surprised that this is still up on YouTube, honestly.
Welcome to the PSR YouTube channel. I love YouTube. YouTube's awesome.
You could hear the can.
YouTube creator.
Like the actual Red Bull can. You could hear it going toing after every shot. That's a funny suppressor. I kind of like it.
Also got a Patreon, the link is in description. Got some merch too, yeah, you know you wanna get some.
Thank you for being patient. I think we've stroked the algorithm enough for today. The video starts in 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of PSR. This is a special episode. We're out in Vegas in the desert for SHOT Show. We're doing a little range
SHOT
day
Show.
here, and we got some fun
old
toys
video
to show you guys. But first, I got to thank the channel sponsor for PSR, and that is Aves Engineering. If you are into squirting your own glizzies, which I would never recommend doing in a million years, of course, Aves is your place to go for all of the rails.
He's getting bold.
Got 19,
He's getting a little
26,
bold with his sponsors.
17, and 43 rails, and machined locking blocks, which we love. And if you guys like Mac stuff too, they got a ton of that. So definitely never in a million years check them out, and especially never in a million years use the code PSR for 10% off your entire order from Aves Rails. And thanks again to Aves for sponsoring this channel. So we got a TX22 competition here. This is not squirted, but is.
And PSA's got a very good sale on those right now, I think. I think I saw these for like $250 at PSA. Not sponsored. I just had to share.
It's a really cool pistol. I have a TX22. It's not the comp model, so this is a lent gun for this video. But, you know, for the 22, there's something missing here. We got a threaded barrel. We need something nice and quiet on the front. So that's why I was thinking maybe we could take this Red Bull and somehow put it on the front, this Red Bull can. You know, it's your standard Red Bull. This is the Sea Blue edition, and we wanted to get quiet here. So we're gonna try our best to put this thing on. Let's just put this thing on, eh? Whammy, there we go. We got our Red Bull suppressor.
Just like that.
It gives you wings, and apparently makes you quiet, because there you go. You can see we got our little exit hole there. So what is this exactly? Well, this is the FTN 22. So this is a 22 caliber suppressor.
It does.
And it is 3D printed. And the cool thing is
the vibes are pretty good with that.
It looks like a Red Bull can. So this is printed in PLA, and the baffles are inside this Red Bull can. And apparently it's super quiet. So we're gonna try it out. We've got both some supersonic and subsonic through this TX22. The 3D printed cans are awesome, and we've tested them in 5.56. We've tested them in 9mm, and they're really great for what they are. And I bet you the 22 is going to be even better. It's such a low power cartridge, so it's going to be really, really quiet. So I cannot wait to check this out, guys. Let's put a mag through it. Oh, dick. Guys, it is getting hot. It's summertime. And you know what that means? Peak
yeah, it's
swamp
getting
ass.
hot.
I don't like swamp ass. I like being able to comfortably carry my firearm. And that brings us to today's video sponsor, and that is Arrowhead Tactical. Arrowhead Tactical makes easy to wear EDC apparel that is tailor-made for carrying your firearm. Provides a perfect retention for your gun, very comfortable and also easy to wear during the summer. Honestly, barely printing, quick draw, really, really safe and secure retention of your firearm. It's not going anywhere, guys. And you can carry
Man,
much
look at his
larger
abs.
firearms than the one I'm carrying right now, which is a Glock 43X. They make athletic wear sweatpants for your EDC. If you're working out, want to be comfortable, wear something a little bit looser, not so tight, but it is tight where it counts, if you know what I mean. Guys, use code PSR for a discount, and thank you to Arrowhead Tactical for sponsoring this video. Beans, what do you think of these athletic shorts from Arrowhead Tactical? You would wear these, right? I think that's a yes from Beans. There's some supersonic Fiocchi we're gonna try first, and you're gonna have to bear with the gunfire in the background. People are just absolutely letting her piss, just giving her shit. Oh, machine gun fire in the background. Oh, dick. This is not Fallujah. All right.
Man, it's not
Let's try her
Fallujah.
out. This is
Disappointing.
supersonic, like I said. The dot on here is just clearing this can, even though it's a chunkier can. Let's try her out here. Oh, dude. Oh, we got a little feeder. Oh, the 22.
Malfunction. Average
Let's see if I can
22
hit the spray paint
experience.
can again. Oh, this ammo. It's not liking this ammo.
Yeah, 22 ammo. Not wonderful.
Oh my gosh, I gotta see how quiet that is. So these are supersonic. Oh, dude, that's so quiet. Oh my God.
Oh, he probably knows this. He probably knows this. But most 22, even if it shows a supersonic velocity, that's out of a rifle length barrel. Like if you're gonna shoot out of a 10-22 or something, then it'd be supersonic. Oh my goodness, the ricers are out tonight. So this may actually be supersonic out of a pistol, but most supersonic 22 is still subsonic out of a pistol because the barrel's not long enough.
Oh, and we're out. All right, now let's try subsonics. All right, this is Fiocchi subsonics. Let's hear it. Oh my God. That is insanely quiet.
I want to see how they attach the threads to the Red Bull can. That's what I want to see.
Oh, sounds like a literal nail gun. It's quieter than a nail gun. That is insane. And the heat, we got a little bit of our smoke coming out here. But, I mean, it's not really, it's just a tiny bit warm, but, I mean, it's 22, but, I mean, with the mass of that, it better be pretty quiet, and it is. Oh, dick. Yeah, dude.
Someone's
Holy
having fun in
shit.
the
So we have
background.
two of these, actually. We have two cans. We have a Red Bull red one and then a Red Bull blue one, but you could use whatever can you want. But
Empty
this one's
can or
designed
stuffed with
around this
something. It's stuffed with a PLA something. It's got something PLA in there. Probably some PLA baffles. Low power 22. Keep silencer cool. Beneficial for plastic cans. Yeah, you definitely want to keep the heat down because you don't want your can internals deforming under heat.
0.4 ounce Red Bull can, which is super, super sweet. All right, let's put another mag through it. I think we're having a little bit of feeding issues, maybe. All right, we're gonna see just a little bit of the difference between shooting subsonic rounds without the can and then with the can, and just show you the difference.
Pet peeve for YouTube videos showing suppressors. Unless you have very expensive equipment, you cannot accurately show the difference in sound between suppressed and non-suppressed shots. It's just a personal pet peeve. Personal pet peeve. Blue can gives extra suppression. Red can gives +5 power. It's an MMO. You choose your Red Bull can.
So you hear that? That's definitely, like, I can take my ear pro off and hear that. It's gonna be, yeah, it's loud. It's giving me a little bit of a ringing there. Let's put the safety on.
Intentional tinnitus.
And now, what? Now we got the can on. Let's hear how quiet it is. Listen. So insane.
See, I know that is quieter. I know it is quieter. But if I'm looking at the decibel rating on my audio mixer, it's hitting about the same spot.
You got a magazine on you?
Yeah. All right, let's give her some more shit. See how fast I can dump a full mag here. That is just ridiculously fun. Like
Now
I said,
put
these
an
are
FRT
PLA
in it.
baffles, so you'd think, oh, they're gonna melt, but no. There's been already a bunch of rounds through this thing. You can kind of see the layer lines here at the bottom, and that's kind of like the base of it, and then obviously.
Okay. So they just cut off the bottom of the can and basically just put the can over it. Interesting.
We've got our serialized portion here, so this is something, if you wanted to do it, you know, legally, then you would have to file a Form 1. You would get permission, unfortunately, from the ATF, but obviously free people don't ask permission, but if that's how you would go about it, if you wanted to do it legally and whatnot, and that's what we've done here. And yeah, people are just absolutely letting her rip right now, which is, you know, what SHOT Show Range Day, PSR, Dianexus Range Day is all about. Just giving her absolute shit. We were having a little bit of trouble with the sub cycling that time. I don't know if it's just one of the mags or it's just the ammo is not consistent, but we're gonna try the supers, see if we can get a full mag here. Yeah, no problem there. Look at her smoking. Oh, baby.
The cans do look cool. Those cans, super
Too
vibey.
much fun. 22 is just too much fun. It's so much.
And now do one of those large monster cans. Do this, but scale it up for the extra large monster can. Chonky suppressors are superior.
Much fun. If you don't have a 22, go get a 22 or print one, honestly. So a little bit more information about these cans. I believe this is part of the FTN3 pack, but maybe it is part of the FTN4. It is labeled FTN4 here, but the creator of these cans
Bang
deserves
Energy
all the
can.
credit, and
You're right. Bang Energy can would be pretty good. Pun intended. Good pun.
that is PLA Boy. PLA Boy, check him out on Twitter. He's doing some really cool stuff. Oh, I love it. I love the sound of full auto. If you want more information, definitely check PLA Boy out on
Brony's a
Twitter.
new pair of underwear now.
He's doing some really, really cool stuff. But we've got our red one now. So we've got kind of the yin and yang. We got the red and the blue one. We'll go with the red now. You know, for those who are like a
What
red
about the standard
versus a
one?
blue, we're going to do this for you. So this is actually an oil filter adapter that's 1/2 by 28.
Banned. Oil filter adapter, 1/2 by 28. Banned.
You thread into here, so that's pretty cool. And then we got our plate with the serial number, and then we got our PLA baffles, and that's just all encapsulated with this.
Ghost Energy, also popular can. I mean, energy drinks are just, they gave them such angsty names. Like, they just make such good suppressors. You get Bang Energy, Ghost Energy. If you want to go away from energy drinks to other canned beverages, you could do Liquid Death. You have a Liquid Death suppressor. If only Balls still existed. It does. I'm pretty sure Balls does still exist. Right? Balls does still exist. What do you mean? What do you mean if Balls still existed? They do still exist. In cans and bottles. You have a Balls suppressor. Wait. You put a balls suppressor on your Glock. And you have a Glock and balls. I need suppressors to be deregulated instantly. So I can make a balls suppressor. What is the can that one dude swung at another dude? I don't know. Probably just like a Dr. Pepper or something. I think it was like some like gas station video. Or some guy just absolutely just destroyed someone with a soda can. Twisted tea. A lot of canned beverages would make good suppressors.
Your Red Bull can. All right, here we go, the red one now. Oh, yeah.
This one better add fire damage.
Oh.
You don't want to register your balls with the ATF. I don't want to register my balls with the ATF. The ATF can register these nuts. Registration is stupid. But I have to do it because I'm a law-abiding citizen. Which is awful.
Oh, and the red one's just as quiet. Even though we have a little tab kind of made a little hole there.
Someone blew out the
it's
tab.
Still just as quiet, man. Wow. All right, we got the blue guy back on just because I like that it's nice and clean with that little hole at the end there. We're going to do alternating super, sub, super just so you can hear.
Do you think that they drilled out those holes or made those holes by firing the first shot? Because those holes don't look perfectly round. It leading me to believe that they made the holes in these cans by gun style hole puncher.
Hear the difference? Let's do it. All right, so this is going to be a super. Listen to that. All right. Now sub. Nuts. Super. You can hear that crack. Still quiet, still ear safe though. Sub. So crazy, just a nail gun. Sub, or super. Sub. Super. Sub. Super.
Built-in wipe.
Sub.
One-use aluminum
Super.
wipe.
Sub. Oh man. That really never gets old. Never gets old. We got our fellow 3D printing Chad here. 3D Arms, what's up?
Hey boys.
So you've seen him on the channel before. We did
PSR
the
is so
Mammoth
short.
50. He designs a bunch of really cool stuff, so he wants to shoot this. We're gonna let him absolutely give her shit. Oh, dick.
Give her.
I don't know who this is.
Oh, dick. We got the subs. They're not functioning.
Malfunction.
the greatest. Oh yeah, we need a different mag. We need to do we have supers?
The bolt tack. I'm gonna hold it close. It'll be even quieter. Check this.
It's a different subs, man.
Oh my god.
It's subs.
See how quiet that is?
That's awesome.
He did. He made a bolt action.
Dude, it's so quiet.
Sounds so good.
Sounds amazing. It's still really quiet. There it is. Oh, baby. You like that? Go. That's sick.
Dude, this is sweet.
Isn't it so
I like that a
awesome?
lot.
Gotta eat your
Oh,
daily
man.
dose of carcinogens.
So good.
I know.
It does
Obviously,
look
you
cool.
got your oil filters.
I do really like the look of the can, or like the oil filter, like bootleg suppressor. It's looks good.
Cans, but having the literal can as the can, it's a vibe.
You can just have that in your fridge, just along with the others. Nobody's gonna know.
No one will know.
How would they know?
How would they know? Honestly, you'd have to take it off the bottom and then be like, what's going on down there?
Man.
Yeah, well, I may have just blown the cover, and now if you got a Red Bull in your arsenal, the ATF's gonna know now. The ATF's gonna know.
Turns out all my Red Bulls are actually suppressors. That's how it gives you wings.
All right, guys. So that's been this video on the 22 caliber 3D printed suppressor.
I wonder what
that's
Red Bull thinks
inside
about this
the Red
video.
Bull can, designed by PLA
How does
Boy,
Red Bull
part of the
feel about
FTN
this?
pack. The FTN 4, 5.56, and 9mm and 30 cal ones. We're gonna do videos on those, but that's coming at a different time. Right now, we're just gonna show some love to our Red Bull, our blue Red Bull, with our blue Red Bull. And Jess gave her shit. Thanks, guys, for watching another episode of PSR. Big thank you to Aves. Big thank you to everyone who came to the range day.
Rest in peace, the
let's see
Red
if I can
Bull.
be accurate. Oh, this is subsonic.
This is
We
Red
love
Bull
Red Bull.
homicide.
I'm so sorry.
Oh,
See you on the next episode.
the Red Bull just murdered a Red Bull. Can't believe it. Yep, I definitely need suppressors out of the NFA. That's why I can make my own cans. Out of cans. Kage. It's just a Red Bull. It's fine if it was a monster. It's fine. If it was a monster, though, then it would be throwing lead. Well, he was throwing lead. Downrange. Yeah, I do like Monster better than Red Bull. Although I don't have either very often at all. Maybe like twice a year. It is not often that I have energy drinks anymore. Now, if I could make suppressors out of them, that might boost my energy drink intake. I've seen the video on the boys channel with Brandon Herrera where they get Australians to shoot AK-50. I've seen the Australians who went and shot with Brandon and they just like turn it into an anti-gun nonsense video. Yeah, I seen it. I saw that one for sure. All right, we were going to watch this video way earlier, but then we got distracted, which seems to happen quite a bit. Suppressors, though, chat. Suppressors being removed from the NFA. We have an update video on that from Mr. Langley. What are your thoughts on Brandon's cannon AK? Oh, neat. I don't need one. I'm gonna be honest, that's how I feel about a lot of gun tuber stuff. Neat. I don't need one. Unless it's forgotten weapons, then it's neat and I need all of it.
The world that they offer you is gray and promises dystopian control. They offer you safety and security purchased with the currency of your freedoms. But on this channel, we say absolutely not. The warmth and freedom of individual liberty will pass on from us to the next generation, and it starts right now.
Was that AI? Was that an AI intro? That felt very AI.
Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, our beautiful country, how we're going to fix both those things together. Guys, if you are not following the drama, if you didn't pull the all-nighter with us when we were tracking what was going on in the Rules Committee for the suppressors, for the Short Act, you're missing a lot of the context that you need to know about because we have some updates. The House is talking about launching and dropping this reconciliation bill tonight or tomorrow morning. It looks like it's going to be an all-nighter again for this guy, but don't worry. I've got coffee and I have plenty of sleep because this is about something
coffee
bigger
and
than just
Adderall.
sleep. We've got our freedoms on the board.
Pull all-nighters.
This has a generational opportunity to make something incredible happen. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on so you guys are fully aware of what's going on, when it drops, what happens, and we are about to grind for some freedom. All right, guys, listen.
Suppressors.
Last night we did an all-nighter. If you follow me on X,
I stayed up way too late trying to listen to politicians talk about nonsense. I swear, like half of the time, I wasn't just like only doing that. I had that on and I was doing other stuff. I swear half the time they were just like complaining. Like, oh, this meeting started at 1 a.m. This is awful. And not actually talking about anything.
That's where I was.
When you're active, nothing
YouTube.
slows you down. So
Why?
it's important to have hearing aids and convenient care.
Basically posting throughout the night of what was going on in the Rules Committee. And we came through the entire thing this morning on a live stream for about 3 hours. And the important piece that you have to understand is we're waiting on 2 little small details. Once those happen, we're off to the races. So what I'm about to show you is the updates that are leading up to those details. Okay, the Rules Committee is the last one. Then it goes to the House broad, and the House leadership is saying they're going to vote tonight or tomorrow morning. So with our suppressor and potentially
tonight or tomorrow morning being tonight. This video came out 3 hours ago. So this video came out like right before stream started. YouTube knows you have hearing damage from shooting. I don't even know what that ad was. All I know is it played an ad, and then instantly I got mad that there was an ad, and didn't pay any attention at all to the ad. Ads are very ineffective on me.
Short act being removed from the NFA, hanging in the balance. We're going to drive real hard. So make sure you're focusing, you are following me on X at Braden LOA.
It was for hearing aids. They give me an ad for hearing aids? I'm not an old man. Just because I have a bit of light tinnitus doesn't mean I need hearing aids. Oh my goodness.
I'll probably go live there, and I'll definitely be doing live updates all night. And make sure you turn your subscriptions on for this channel because this is a big one. All right, let's dive in. So these are the things that you need to know as we go forward because this is where the suppressors and this is where the Short Act all comes together right at this moment. New. Johnson says they will move forward with the reconciliation package. They'll be going to Rules to submit the manager's amendment and vote on package tonight or tomorrow morning. And I've got lots of things lined up, okay? This is really crucial to understand. They alluded in the Rules Committee while we were watching from 1 a.m. all the way until about 11 a.m. They confirmed
it's a crazy all-nighter.
They're waiting on management amendments and they're waiting on the House to actually go to the bill.
What do you mean not old man? 100-year-old vampire. Yeah, that's young for a vampire. It's just, stop thinking only in human terms. You gotta broaden your perspective. Mao, good night. Sleep well. What time is it? Oh, it's only a little after midnight. It's not too terrible. You're very interested in the Hearing Protection Act? The algorithm at its best targeted advertising. Yeah, I want to protect my hearing. If my hearing was already gone, I wouldn't need to protect it. Forehead.
To go to the floor and vote on the bill broadly, okay? The House Freedom Caucus went to the White House today, and that's where all this movement is coming from of what I'm about to show you. So check this out. This is Eric Dowdery. We covered him a lot during the election, and he was pretty right most of the time. Big beautiful bill. The plan for a vote is tonight, Representative Scalise says after Freedom Caucus
That's
meets
how that's
with Trump.
pronounced?
Now,
It's pronounced Scalise?
the reason this is crucial is because the leadership is aligning across the board to tonight or tomorrow morning, probably starting tonight, and it's going to round up in the morning, which means all the Rules Committee and the management amendments of which we're waiting for are going to drop before that. That's where this key point is. It's incredibly important to be paying attention to this stuff. So that's why I need you guys to send this stuff out. If we have Representative Scalise saying the vote's going to be tonight, Speaker Johnson, the vote's going to be tonight, Representative Chairman Comer, the vote's going to be tonight. Guys,
seems like the vote's going to be
pushing for
tonight,
tonight.
guys.
That's why it's so crucial to follow
Seems
me
like
on
the
X,
vote's going
follow
to be
me on here,
tonight.
because I can give you these updates because something tells me we're going to see movement on this tonight. Now, this is a very key point, and then I'm going to show you the highlights from the gun control crap and some other things that you need to know about the suppressors particularly.
Oh, are we going to get to hear politicians complain about guns? That should be good. That never becomes meme worthy.
Speaker Johnson tells Reid Reports that concerns shared by House Freedom Caucus will be addressed with some combination of work by Congress and POTUS, adds that may include executive orders. This is the sausage making that I was telling you guys about for,
sausage.
9 hours from last night at 1 a.m. till now.
Sausage making in
They're going
Congress?
to be wheeling and dealing because the House Freedom Caucus
I think there was a video
wants
about that a while ago.
Individuals want some stuff, and now you've got the White House that wants this bill. All right, watch what he says here, and then I'll show you what the Dems are freaking out about in the Rules Committee still currently.
Mr. Speaker, are you going to pass this bill tonight?
The plan is to move forward as we expected. That was a very productive meeting at the White House. It's great to have a president that is so directly engaged with what happens in the other branch of government over here in the legislative branch. It was a collection of leaders from the House, and most of them Freedom Caucus leaders, and we had a good discussion. I think we're in a very good place. I think that all of our colleagues here will really like this final product, and I think we're going to move forward.
But House Freedom Caucus members wanted major changes to this bill.
You will see how all of this is resolved, but I think we can...
Suppressors?
we
Get
can
suppressors?
resolve their
Move suppressors out of the
concerns, and
NFA?
It'll be probably some combination of work by the president in these areas as well as here in Congress. And so
executive orders.
there may be executive orders relating to some of these issues in the near future.
All right. So this is really key. You have to understand what is happening right here behind the scenes, because remember, suppressor and short barrel items are on the chopping block to get removed from the NFA. All right. They're trying
Removing
to
from the
appease
NFA.
every single person.
Remove
here's
everything
what-
from the
basically,
NFA.
If I were a betting man, this is what just happened behind closed doors. We need this bill to pass. We want our goodies. Well, how can I help you do that? Well, get this bill to pass, and then we'll give you some executive orders and some other legislative pushes in another area. That's most likely what happened. So you're probably going to see
Political
movement in the
favors.
positive towards getting
Gross.
this done. Now, this is the really important piece right here. Let me jump over to this because this is the stuff you have to understand. This is from Stephen Gutowski. A number of sources I've talked to who are working on this believe leadership will include a provision delisting silencers
There
from
we
the
go.
National Firearms
There we
Act
go.
alongside
That's what we
the
want.
provision eliminating the tax on them. The text below is just a placeholder for final language, though. Now, the reason that this is important is because we were tweeting about this, or rather posting about this on X last night. This is the Shush Act, which was put in as Amendment 487 in the Rules Committee. We covered this from 1 a.m. last night, okay? What he's saying here is this is likely a placeholder, and what they're telling him is they're going to include a provision delisting silencers from the National Firearms Act.
Yes.
That is the golden goose. That's
Take him
the
out.
crown jewel from the
Remove
suppressor
him.
side. Short is still a separate thing. But what they're talking about right now is suppressors removed from the from the NFA right there. Okay? When you're looking at this, you have to understand all the pieces that are coming into place. The House wants this to pass completely by tonight or tomorrow morning. That's the leadership. They've all said it. They're talking about, from multiple sources, delisting suppressors from the NFA through these management amendments, which are going to be hitting on this. They've already said it. That's what they're talking about. Okay? It's right there, most likely what's going to happen according to these sources. Now, this is what the Dems are freaking out about behind this, or on these Rules Committee. This is what we left, and now we're going back because they started hitting on some.
This guy looks like not a soccer mom, like a soccer grandma. Like a soccer mom, but old.
Suppressors, because they just have to find something. But here's my funny little comment about this. If you think they're freaking out now about reducing the tax on suppressors, you just wait until they remove suppressors from the NFA completely. Oh, the mind melts. But anyway, let's
removing
get
an
to
attachment
on the Democratic
from the
Party. Listen
NFA.
to this.
The average professional waits over 3 hours a day on tasks, but that
No.
changes now. With On Demand, you can leverage
is offering, which will strike, this is, bear with me, this is a double negative, I hate double negatives. It strikes the removal of the $200 tax on silencers. Right now, and this is since 1934, there has been a $200 tax on silencers, never adjusted for inflation. It's been solid since 1934, but I believe it's Mr. Clyde who wants to die on this hill.
Good job,
By
Clyde.
the way, he's the one posting on X about this. Oh, he's going to die on this hill. That's the point. They're holding strong on these things. That is a positive inclination. I don't know what's going to happen in the end.
You don't
I can
hate
never guarantee
politicians
it,
enough.
But
It's
we're going
true.
in the right direction. Keep calling. Keep being active. Let's continue to the commie.
Well, others might die on this hill.
Oh, shut up.
He wants to remove the tax altogether. Baffling to me. And you know what?
The argument, and this isn't like just that this lady has invented this argument. The argument that goes, this is how it's always been done, and therefore it has merit because that's how it's always been done, is awful. Absolute just pet peeve of mine in terms of like an argument. This is how it's always been done, and therefore that's good. Wrong. That doesn't have to do with just this lady who's saying that it's been this way for 90 years, so of course that's how it should be. Just like in general, if you say that in an argument, that's awful. That's stupid. It's a terrible argument. Saw this video earlier. She makes my blood boil. I'm scared to see what else she has to say.
The dollars are? It's $1.4 billion over 10 years. I did the
1.4 billion over 10 years. Now, if I, an individual, made 1.4 billion in 10 years, I'd be doing really well. That's 140 million a year. Still seems like a lot of money. But keep in mind, the government operates in the trillions. That's not even a rounding error.
math, that means something like 700,000 silencers are sold in this country a year. That baffles me. I don't know if that's
Tell me you don't know anything while acting like you know something. Oh my goodness. Not all NFA items are silencers. And even if all of the NFA items were silencers, you just made a fantastic argument for why, if there's that many of them, if there are that many silencers out there, why would they be regulated through all this nonsense? They're obviously not causing a problem if there's that many of them. What is the NFA branch budget? Or the ATF NFA branch budget? I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I remember I saw it at some point, and it was somewhere in the billions, but I don't remember. Don't remember off the top of my head.
accurate, but by the numbers and by the math, that's what we're talking about. In 1934,
Do you think she meant to make the pun of baffles her? Okay.
I hadn't even noticed. It baffles me. The suppressors.
$200 looked like, adjusted for inflation? It's at least $4,600, $4,700, $4,800 would be the tax if we did that today. Why do you think they put such a steep tax on that silencer in 19?
Oh, I know why. I know why they put such a steep tax on it. Because it was meant to be prohibitive. Which is, first of all, unconstitutional. But also, it was meant to be prohibitive. It was meant so that you were literally pricing them out. Pricing out poor people from owning this device. It was made so that only rich people could have access to these things.
34. Take a look at the history. The history is the tax was used to try to discourage the purchasing of silencers.
Well, hold on a sec. Hot damn. Are you
She actually said it.
Madam Democrat on the House in the House Rules testimony that people who would want to restrict the rights of the American population would use a tax to discourage ownership, almost like a chilling effect? That's weird. Maybe we should apply that logic to all the blues.
Taxing something to discourage people doing that thing? Now apply it to income tax. Or property tax.
Wait a minute. God, you hate when they say the quiet part out loud, don't you? Because literally, she just said exactly the entire point of all the gun control taxes.
To be fair, the ATF also said that like a week or so ago on X. They said that the $200 tax was meant to be prohibitive back in 1934. This isn't a new thing, them saying the quote quiet part out loud. They've been saying that.
Fees, mandated fees for background checks, mandated fees for fingerprinting, mandated fees for license renewal, training out of your own pocket. All of this is meant to be a chilling effect on your freedoms and rights, but this moron can't figure out that she can't say the quiet part out loud, because after all, it baffles her. It's got to be a pun. Got to be. Let's continue.
No, this lady doesn't know enough about suppressors.
This is an amendment. This is an initiative that Mr. Thompson will correct in his amendment, which I'm sure you're all going to go for.
Nope.
That would reduce the revenue, take us down $1.4 billion over 10 years, don't know why, and probably encourage the sale of more.
What? No, it's coming out of the NFA. That's what we want. And we're standing pretty strong on that. Let's go over to Representative Thompson. This is the gun controller guy in the House, all right? Listen to what he says. Again,
is this generic congressman number 3? Generic angry old man? What? If you told AI to generate a congressperson, that's what would come out. Except they'd have like 6 fingers.
Just what happened while we took a little bit of a breather from this stupid testimony. But anyway, let's continue.
As a combat veteran, a lifelong hunter and gun owner, I can tell you this provision has nothing at all to do with hearing protection, but it has everything to do with making money for a certain segment of the gun industry. If you're concerned about protecting hearing from gunfire, buy and use earplugs.
Hey, watch this, guys. You ready for this? Watch this. Hey, if you're concerned about not having abortion rights, buy and use condoms. Oh my God, I can almost hear me being called a bigot. See how this game works? You can't have your gun rights.
I mean, he's not wrong. This guy is paid by Big Earplug. This guy's paid by the company that makes those little orange foam earplugs.
Because if you really want to protect your hearing, then just buy earplugs. Okay, well, you can't have your abortion rights, as you call them, because you can just buy contraception. Oh my God, how do you hate women? It never ends, guys. It never ends. But this right here is why we are fully chasing the big, beautiful bill which is going to have executive orders to basically, I don't want to say that, basically ease everyone's conscience into voting for it, which is going to contain this bad boy right here, according to Stephen Gutowski, delisting suppressors.
And we did go over the actual text that was proposed to be added earlier in stream. This was the placeholder text.
Firearms Act. Yeah. You think they're mad now? Just wait till later. That's what I've got for you guys right this second. Those are the updates. That's what you need to know. And of course, I will either go live if it's the right hour, or if it's too late, I will be on X across the board. It might be an all-nighter, but this demands our attention, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden.
Also, chat. You can still call your Congress critter. I called last night at 2:30 in the morning while they were in their meeting, and someone answered the phone at 2:30 in the morning. And I told them to support the removal of suppressors and short-barreled firearms from the NFA. At 2:30 in the morning, I told a real person who picked up the phone. This applies to transfers after 2015. Am I getting a refund for my stamps? No. So that text was specifically just placeholder. The actual text, we went over it earlier in stream. We can pull it up again. Give me just a second. Yeah, that was just purely placeholder. Can I get one without a watermark on it, please? Probably not. This is the one that was it was shared by someone who has interest in watermarking things. All right, it'll work. It'll work well enough though. I don't like this. This is in two different pictures. I know someone shared one. That was all one picture. There it is. Thank you, American Suppressor Organization, for not putting watermarks all over the stuff. So this is what is actually being added. No better. About hoping to get money back from the government. Yeah, the government's pretty good at holding on to money. Well, they should be better at it, considering the debt. But here's what's actually proposed to be added. Obviously, they still have yet to vote on it, which should be happening at ungodly hours of the night or in the morning, according to Mr. Langley. So, chat, I know for me currently it's just after 12:30. I called yesterday, 2:30 in the morning, got an answer. So it is not too late, chat, for you to call your Congress critters, call the various committees, and tell them what to support. But this is what the current thing is. So, in general, Section 584A amended by striking any silencer and all that follows through end of section and inserting Section 7. So basically, scooching Section 8 up into Section 7, removing silencers from the NFA, and then transfer tax, because this is, remember, this is a budget and tax bill. Luckily, the NFA is a tax scheme, so this can be done. And so this first section up here, strike any silencer and all that follows through and 8, insert and 7, so just scoot 8 up into 7, removes the any silencer section from the NFA. And then all the rest of this is just changing the verbiage of the actual tax part of the NFA to remove the actual taxation. Which is beautiful. It's beautiful. And so this being voted on soon by the House, then it will move to the Senate. And then everyone's going to have to fight again in the Senate to both keep this in and also, and this is a stretch, I'm not going to say this isn't a stretch, but there is a non-zero chance in the Senate of getting them to add the Short Act. For those who don't know what that is, the Short Act would remove short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, and AOWs from the NFA, which are basically, not basically, literally, just the same rifles and shotguns, except slightly shorter, that are regulated the same as machine guns and grenades, which have no business being in the NFA at all in the first place. So those should be removed from the NFA. They should not be regulated at all. So the Short Act it is a stretch, could be added in the Senate. Also, this has to stay both through the vote and through the Senate. So just having this here is a victory so far. It's still in the House. It still has to be passed through the House, and then it has to get through the Senate. And then it has to be signed off by the president. So this is a battle. Battle won here. The war is still raging. So celebrate the battle, but don't stop fighting. I said this earlier. Removing suppressors or anything else from the NFA is something that I didn't think was possible. If you had asked me 2 months ago if removing anything from the NFA would happen any time in a future that I might see, I would have said no. I would have said I didn't think it was going to happen. But oh my goodness. This is like the biggest grassroots thing, the biggest grassroots movement that I have seen ever in my lifetime. And it is incredible that it has made it this far. And all of the momentum that it has built so far needs to keep building. It's got to keep going. I'm psyched. I'm psyched. I don't know if you can tell. I don't get excited very easy. This is my excited voice right here. This is my excited voice, chat. I am excited for this. Like something is literally happening that I didn't think was possible. And that's so cool. I love it so much. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful chat. So anyone who has called your Congress critter or any of the various congressional, I forgot the word, having a stroke. Any of the congressional committees. Thank you. Oh my goodness. It's incredible. Account can dream. I have a dream that one day to make a Martin Luther speech, except about the NFA. See, all that is happening. It's going on. No black pilling. No black pilling. It's possible. There've been a lot of black pillars on Twitter, on X. But it's possible. It's possible. There have been literally thousands, if not tens of thousands, honestly, of calls made to Congress to back this thing. And to all the black pillars out there who say that the government doesn't listen, generally, I agree with you. But if people yell and complain loud enough, they have to. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Source intelligence.
All right, chat. All right, chat. I feel like we've talked about a lot today. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like we've talked a lot today. We've hit on a lot of topics. Also, chat, my first Glock. You witnessed my first time to own a Glock. Which honestly, I like it. I don't see myself ever getting another one. But honestly, I didn't ever see myself getting one at all. But they, it's the only Glock I find interesting. Now put balls on it. If I put a balls can on a Glock, it'd be this one. Because this one has a threaded barrel on it. And already has a suppressor on it currently. But if anything was going to be the Glock and balls, it'd be this. You know what, chat? You know what? Chat. If suppressors are removed from the NFA, I will buy a balls soda can and make a suppressor out of it. And put it on a Glock so that you can have Glock and balls. There you go, chat. There's my promise to you. if suppressors are removed from the NFA, I will make a balls suppressor and put it on a Glock so we can have Glock and balls. There you go. I said it. Clip it. Clip it. Hold me to it. I'll do it. Got to remove suppressors from the NFA, though. Call your congressman. Call your congressman. If you want Glock and balls, you got to call your congressman. Tell him to remove suppressors from the NFA. It's got to happen. But there you go. There you go. If you didn't have fire before, hopefully you've got fire now. I'm excited though. I'm excited, chat. This is it's so cool. It's so good. It's so good. I'm excited. I'm excited. I already said it. Suppressors shouldn't have ever been in the NFA, along with, you know, all the rest of the NFA shouldn't have been there. 91 years later, though, we have a chance to take him out. Literally generational opportunity. 91 years. Chat, you have a once in a century opportunity to remove suppressors from the NFA. And a non-zero chance to remove short barrel firearms from the NFA as well. Which is insane. Insane. 91 years. And this is the first time that there's ever been a good chance of it. Like, do you understand? 91 years, chat. It's incredible. All right, chat. All right, chat. I think, I'm gonna be honest, chat. I was up way too late last night watching all the Congress critters complain about having to be up at like 4 in the morning. So I'm very tired. I think we're probably going to end. It's a little earlier than we normally end. We did also start on time today, which is pretty cool. But we are going to be raiding out. Who do we raid out today? You know, we're gonna raid Leaf. We need a raid message though. Should we do a Glock and balls raid? Glock and balls raid? I think a Glock and balls raid would be good. There we go. All right, we're going to raid, if I can spell correctly. We're going to raid Leaflet. Grab your Glock and balls raid. That's my promise, chat. That's my promise to you. If suppressors are removed from the NFA, I will make a Glock and balls. I'll make the Glock and balls gun. So grab your Glock and balls raid message, chat. It's very important. I will be back. When's next stream? Next stream will be tomorrow. So tomorrow, we should be able to. We may be able to, depending on what the actual Congress critters do tomorrow. We may be able to see if suppressors are heading on to the next step. Remember, call your Congress critters. We may get one step closer to Glock and balls. So, until tomorrow, I will see you next time. Thank you everyone for for hanging out, stopping by. I will see you all tomorrow. I appreciate you all very much. Goodbye, Warlorder, King Panzer, Megalum, Not the Batfoot, Mao, Matilda, Blitz, anyone else hanging about. I appreciate you all very much, and I will see you all next time.